Hey guys, good evening and welcome back to the 3 a.m. show. I want to start with a huge apology. I was supposed to upload this episode on Wednesday, but because of circumstances, I've been quite busy, and this led to the delay of uploading episode number 5 and 6. But being busy is no excuse for the bad habit of me slacking important things. And I want to let you guys know the return on investment I get by doing this podcast every single week is financially the lowest among all the activities I currently do. So most of my time and attention these days is divided among three things: the agency I currently work for, the courses, books, and the time I spend studying and learning new skills, and this podcast where I get to share my stories and give value to everyone. Yet, somehow, I love this podcast the most among all three things because not only everyone who has listened to this podcast have supported me and they've loved every episode of it. The main thing which really baffles me is that this podcast was heard in more than 9 countries and 58 cities, which is absolutely insane. So you guys can literally spend your time anywhere in the world. There's unlimited TV shows, movies on Netflix, books, activities, or any sort of distractions, but you choose to give those important 10 to 15 minutes of your lives to me. And I want to make sure that whatever I come up with in this podcast, the value I provide to you is beneficial and you take something new every single time you listen to a new episode. And now I will make sure that every week I upload at least 2 episodes, Sunday and Monday, and do my best to give you real practical help, which you can start applying to your lives immediately. Tonight, we're doing something practical. We're talking about how to read someone's body language and why being able to read the room is one of the most useful skills you can ever learn. So, when I was a kid, I did not know how to read the room. And to be honest, I still don't currently do. I sometimes make mistakes. Sometimes I don't understand what people are saying. Sometimes I can't read what anybody's body language or their mannerisms convey about themselves. And it's very important to read the room because it is a life skill. It is so essential to know who likes you, who wants to talk to you, who doesn't like you, and who doesn't want to talk to you. I pulled a lot of this from a book called What Everybody is Saying by an ex FBI agent, but I'm keeping it simple, nothing fancy, just useful things you can try from now on. So, why study body language first? Because it helps you and it helps the people around you. You notice what's unspoken, you avoid misunderstandings, and you show up better, and that's the real benefit. So, let's start with why it matters right now. If you run a business, you'll spot hesitation in a client's face before they tell you no. If you work for someone, you'll sense when your manager is open to new ideas or they're not. If you speak in public, as a teacher or public speaker or even in meetings, you read the room that tells you whether to speed up or slow down. And if you sit at a poker table or a casino, you can have a poker face, but you can't always have a poker body. And small tells give away big things. So, less speaking can be a superpower. The less you talk, the more weight your words carry. People will always listen when you choose to speak. So, if your body matches your words, so how do we actually read the body language and how do we spot a lie and how do we show confidence? And let's start with breaking these things down one by one. So, let's start with the baseline. Watch before you judge. Before you decide someone is lying, watch them for a minute. Everyone has a baseline, the way they normally sit, blink, talk, their gestures, and their mannerisms. Everyone's different in their own way. So, changes from baseline are what matters, not just one gesture alone, just a cluster of changes. So, a quick exercise could be next time you're in a cafe, pick one person and watch what they do with their hands, with their body language for 60 seconds. Notice how they sit, with their hands, how they breathe. This is training for your own eye. Don't stare at someone, just observe. And simple cues that you tell when something's off is looking for a mismatch. If someone's words are just saying, I'm fine, but their shoulders are tensed, their jaw is tight, or their chin is trembling, that's a mismatch and also a red flag. If someone fidgets a lot, like rubbing their fingers, touching their face, that can be a self soothing gesture for coping mechanisms like anxiety, nervousness, or discomfort. Not proof of lying, just discomfort. People who take up a lot of space, like man spreading, they have a wider chest, their feet are planted to the ground, are often signaling dominance. For example, a football coach in a meeting might own space differently than someone in a job interview. Oftentimes, people stop interrupting when they realize they're not getting the usual reaction. So, if someone interrupts you constantly, just hold eye contact with them for about 10 seconds and slow your answers. This way, you're controlling the pace of the conversation and your silence can recalibrate someone's behavior. Now, going on to the next thing on how to read the body language. The third step is the classic tells, their posture. So, someone's eyes, people might be avoiding eye contact when they're hiding something, or they might be staring too hard to overcompensate. And their mouth, if they're covering their lips, or they have some sort of signal which is holding them back, lowering their chin can show that they're in shame or submission. And if their shoulders and their posture says signals some sort of less energy or it signals defeat, an open, tall posture can signal confidence. But if someone's posture just snaps upright during a question, that could be their defensive response. It means they're about to say something in the self defense of being accused of something. Now, the fourth step of noticing someone's body language is deception check. So here's the big truth: all of us human beings are not great at spotting lies. We're biased. We want to trust someone naturally. So don't look for every single lying gesture. Look for clusters and timings. Know how someone acts when they're calm. One's twitch is nothing but a twitch plus a gaze plus inconsistent story is a cluster. If someone smiles after a beat, it's less genuine. But genuine expressions are usually quick and automatic and authentic. And someone's pitch shifts like faster speech or they're unnaturally slow, the answers could be a lie. The fifth way to read someone's body language or read the room is noticing the whole pattern. How's the energy in the room? Are people leaning in or are they leaning back? Are people on their phones? Are people mirroring each other? Or what sort of posture are they holding up? If you're leading a meeting and notice people are leaning back, it might be a time for a break or a question that invites participants. If you're pitching and leaning forward, you're onto something. The next important thing which I want to talk about is how to show confidence when you walk into a room. So, exerting natural confidence when you walk into a room, if you've seen someone walk into a room and they naturally just own every single corner in, I know it's weird to say, I know it's kind of weird to say and listen to something like this, but it does happen. And you notice that someone has a sort of personality that is a game changer for most people. Sometimes you start noticing a person more who just walked into the restaurant and the way they act, the way they talk, the way they walk is important because it's often what other people are also looking for. They want to speak to someone who's confident, who knows what they're doing. So if you want to exert confidence for yourself, here's a few tips. Stand tall, make sure that your shoulders are back. These are just basic things, but make sure that your hands are visible so that people know that you're not hiding anything. And take reasonable space. I'm not asking you to man spread or take too much space. Just don't shrink or own your area without aggression. And if you want to practice, you can in front of a mirror. And a good public speaking tip is rehearsing out loud. So run the full thing in your head. Let's say you're about to give a speech. Before you give the speech, just run the full thing in your head. When you enter the room, you greet everyone. And once your speech is over, you head out. So just run the whole thing in your head so that you're not nervous and you're not repeating your words because repetition calms nerves and changes your baseline behavior for that talk. Finally, the two things which I want to talk about is the mindset. Skill is extremely powerful. Use your body language to create safety, to clarify confusion, and to be present. If someone seems anxious, your calm posture can also relax them. So turn your head a bit slightly, lower your voice, and they often relax. A couple of quick myth busting which I want to do is when people think that other people are lying to them because of their fidgeting habits. But the reality is that sometimes people freeze when they're lying. Others act overly animated. So it's about change from the baseline, not just a single sign. The second myth is the direct eye contact is always honesty. But in reality, some cultures avoid eye contact, and some nervous people avoid eye contact even when they're telling the truth. And finally, if you want to read the book and extract the full knowledge and fill in any gaps from this podcast, I have attached a link to What Everybody is Saying, a book by Joe Navarro, in the description. I want to finish off on two notes which I carry. First is that things are going to take a lot longer than you expect. So, a real trust or skill or real business or starting a new job, trust the power of compound work. Be patient with time. Do some work every single day because it's going to take a lot longer than you originally thought. And you'll notice in some time a world of a difference in yourself, in your habits. Second is one of the hardest things which I've ever learned is accepting in life I won't have everything I want. This acceptance is freeing. It stops you from chasing every short delight and helps you invest in what actually matters. And before we wrap up, a quick note. A lot of you asked if there's a way to speak to me directly about something about in your own life or about the topics we cover here. I'm now offering private one-to-one sessions where you can book a call with me to discuss your own situation, your ideas, or anything from this podcast. So the link to book a session is right there in the episode description, or you can go through the link tree on Instagram, the 3 a.m. show. That's it for tonight. As always, the question I always ask, if you had 2 minutes and the whole world was listening to you, what would you say? Thank you for being here at 3 a.m. My name is Raghav, and thank you for listening.